Welcome to episode 6 of Cancer Called. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about a few different things. The first thing is, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October, of course. Secondly, we're going to talk about how do you get through your first year of being diagnosed with cancer. And thirdly, we're going to discuss what's next after you beat it, because you truly have to believe that you can beat it. It calls you, but the question is, how will you answer? Before we get started, I want to announce that I have my very first sponsor, Jesse Lee's Craft Market Beer. Not only are they our sponsor for this episode, but they have so graciously decided to donate 10% of their profits to Cancer Called for the Rosé Wine of the Week. So I have a couple wines to share with you. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit more about Jesse Lee's. Jesse Lee's is a boutique marketplace in Sedona, Arizona. I'm located in Arizona. Shout out to all my Arizonans. Specializing in independent craft beer, natural wine, cider, mead, and more. They are localist, and they are proud to offer whole bean coffees from some of Arizona's finest roasters, apparel from native Arizona brands like State 48 and Strange Magic Co. or Company, gifts from local AZ artists, and more. If you want to check them out, which I hope you will, because again, they're donating money to help Cancer Called so that we can help the community. You can find them in Sedona, Arizona, on State Route 179 in the village of Oak Creek. Shout out to Jesse Lee's. So we have 2 wines so far because we're in our second week of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The first wine I have for you is called Christina. Very pretty. I like it. I actually purchased this wine from Jesse Lee's because I'm approaching my 1-year anniversary on October 14th. That was the day I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and you best believe I'm gonna pop this open. So this is one of the wines, if you purchase at Jesse Lee's this week, again, 10% goes towards Cancer Called. The second wine I have for you, I really wish I had my husband on this episode because his first language is French, and this actually looks French. It says Saint Pourçon. I want to say Saint Pourçon. He'll probably laugh at me later when he watches this episode. But this is the second wine of the week. So these 2 wines, if you purchase them at Jesse Lee's Craft Beer Market, 10% of the proceeds goes to Cancer Called for the month of October. Make sure you look for me in the next week because we're going to have a new wine. Thanks, Jesse Lee's. So let's talk about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I really hope you ladies are out there getting your tatas, titties, whatever you want to call them, checked, because it's very, very important. You know, if it wasn't for my doctor finding that lump during my annual exam, who knows where I would be today. You know, he found the lump, and you go, they make it really easy for you to schedule a mammogram. Even if you don't have a lump, go get the mammogram. And people say it hurts like hell. Let me just tell you, I've had titties of all sizes, and I do mean all sizes, okay? I used to be a size H, and then I had a breast reduction. This is all before cancer, right? And then I got cancer, and so they chopped them off. So what does that make me? A -0? I don't know. Call it a -0. And then I was able to get reconstructive surgery, so now I'm like a size C. So I've had the mammogram, obviously. I really think you ladies should go and do it. They take you into the room. They take like a glass, I guess you would call it, and they lay your tata on the glass, and they flatten it a little bit, and they take pictures, of your tatas. That's what they do. And you of course, hope that they don't find anything. But if they find something, you would rather that they find it sooner than later. I mean, I was stage 1, but some people are stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. The higher the number, the worse off basically it can be. I hate to say worse off, but I'm a realist. You're always going to find that I'm a realist on here, and I'm coming at you straightforward, shooting straight from the hip. You get what you get, right? So I really want you ladies to go check it. I actually had a call today from a friend, and she told me that she scheduled her mammogram. We're about the same age. I think she's 1 year older than me, so she might be 40 already. I'm approaching 40. Yes, I'm approaching 40. But it's very important that you ladies go get it checked. So I would like to ask, because, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I would like to ask that each one of you reach out to 2 females, just 2 females. Contact them, whether you know that they are over 40, I don't care if they're 18, 22, 60. Contact 2 females for me and ask them to go and get their mammogram in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm going to thank you for that in advance. So moving on. So it's been almost a year since I was diagnosed with cancer. I can't believe it, to be honest. October 14th, 2020. So I have, 2 more days? 2 more days before I can celebrate being here 1 year later. I'm starting to feel better. I'm sure you all think I'm looking better than when I was on chemo. You can see my hair starting to grow in. I no longer wear a hat outside unless I get up with bedhead, right, and walk the dog. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling better. The eyebrows are coming in. I always talk about that. But how did I get through the first year after being diagnosed? So, step number 1 for me. And this worked for me. Everybody has to deal with this, differently. They have to process it differently. But I feel like step number 1, when you receive that diagnosis and you finally start to process that this is your life now, you're about to embark on a new journey. Whether you want to or not, the journey is going to happen. So the first thing you need to do is find a support system. Okay, whatever that support system looks like. Is it a spouse? Is it family? Is it friends? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? I'm naming all these platforms now. TikTok. What do you need to help you not only process this new journey that you're on, but to support you through that? Because you will need support. This is why I do Cancer Call. Because everybody doesn't have that support. Everybody doesn't have a husband. Everybody doesn't have children. At some point, you don't even have your parents. Let's just be honest. So you have to find a support system. And what I did is I started a Facebook group support page, named it T Strong, right? Because you see T Strong. You can kind of see that on my shirt. And I was I was amazed, but I'm still amazed at the support I had. Friends and family started to come on my page. I invited those that were closest to me or those that I wanted to share the information with. And I started to do posts about my journey, my haircut, chemo, radiation, how I'm feeling today. I feel like crap, right? If the weather bothered me, how my husband helped me. There's so many things that you can talk about on your support group page. And maybe the support group page, again, is not the way for you. Maybe writing in a journal will help you. But you do have to have some type of support to help you push through it. Doesn't mean you have to tell the world, but get somebody that can hold your hand. And I do mean hold your hand. Sometimes you need that literally. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you have to figure out, what can I do to keep my mind focused on getting to the end of that journey, whatever that journey looks like, right? So for me, I started Cancer Called. I was sitting there, and as some of you know, I love rotary phones. I absolutely love rotary phones, and I love anything that's old school, record players, the Soul Train line, all that good stuff. The 70s would have probably been my favorite year. If I was born, well before that, it could have been like in my 20s and my 70s. But anyway, I chose to do Cancer Called because I wanted to not only have something to focus on to help me through my journey, in addition to my support group, but I wanted to give back to the community in some way. And I said, well, I'm not rich. I'm not a millionaire. How can I give back to the community? It doesn't always have to be financial, right? So I said I wanted to do videos, come up with apparel and other things to change the mindset of individuals and how they feel about being diagnosed with cancer. Cancer sucks. We all know that. We've known that for years. But can I find, how can I make it more acceptable? Does it always have to be so serious, right? So I started thinking of things like, cancer called me and I hung up the phone. Cancer called me and I shut the door. There's so many different sayings and things that I've been working on, that some of you, have already participated in purchasing, and you'll see that on our website at cancercalled.com. But Cancer Called was it for me. The other thing that I did was I decided that I was going to work through chemo. Now, everybody can't do that. I realize that. I'm a realist, right? But being stage 1 and knowing the type of person I am, that I just can't sit and dwell on things that are happening to me. I either have to decide that I'm going to change the situation if it's within my power, or I'm going to have to, again, find something to help push me through it. So after I had my surgery, about almost 2 months later, I decided that I was going to go back to work, and I worked through chemo, and I had a great boss. I still have the same boss that allowed me to go to my treatments and worked with me through the different side effects, because there are side effects with chemo. So those are the first two things that you have to do. I think the third thing that you have to do is you have to remember that cancer called you, you didn't call cancer, right? So, that's pretty clear, straight to the point. But what I mean by that is you can control your journey, right? Because you didn't go outside and say, hey, I want to pick up cancer. I think today would be a great day to have cancer, just like COVID. Nobody goes out there and says they want to go get COVID or get cancer. It doesn't happen. Cancer called you, right? So what are you going to do now that it called? Are you going to sit there and dwell? Are you going to get up and figure out what your next move is? Are you going to decide if you're going to work or not work? Are you going to accept treatment if it's chemo, if it's radiation? There's so many options now. They're way more advanced than they were probably 20 or 30 years ago. based on the things that I've researched. So that in itself, is a blessing, right? So you really have to remember that you didn't choose this, it chose you. But that doesn't mean that you have to allow it to be in complete control. So you have to make that decision, right? You have to make that decision. So I think, another thing that was good for me during the past year was I like to dance. I may not be the best dancer, but I do like to dance. And after a little bit of nudging, I got my husband to join me in making dance videos. And I started making promises to myself, or if you will, not timelines, but what am I thinking of? I always draw a blank with this, but for lack of a better word, because I'm drawing a total blank, you need to make goals for yourself. And one thing that I did was I said, before I start chemo, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do a dance video. And you can find that on our YouTube channel. If you're watching this, most likely on YouTube. You can also find that on our Facebook page at cancer_called, where my husband and I were dancing, and I literally have breast expanders in my chest. I think I was not even a month, maybe a month from my surgery. We go to a park. I had a girlfriend record me. It was a great experience, and I'm really glad that I did it because it gave me something to look forward to. I made that promise to myself that I was going to do it, and I did it. And that's what I want you all to do. I want you to come up with goals throughout your journey that you want to accomplish, and fight for it. Do whatever it takes to meet that goal within your power, right? I'm a reasonable person. So yeah, I did the dance videos, and as soon as I was able to pretty much leave the house, because of course I got cancer right in the middle of COVID, I went to record stores. My husband took me to a record store. It's one thing I love to do as well. And so he took me to the record store, and yeah, you move slow depending on what type of cancer you have, and you do have to be careful with your immune system if you're, have already started your chemotherapy. But do what you love to do. I love records, so that's what I went to do, and I purchased records, and I would post that on my group page and say, hey, these are the records that I purchased, so that I could show people that I'm really trying to fight the cancer even on the bad days. Lastly, I love to color. I do love adult coloring books. Some of you may laugh at that. A lot of people laugh at that, but to be honest, it is very relaxing, especially if I put on classical music. I'm not being cliche about that. I actually love classical music. Chopin is not one of my favorites, my favorite composer, because he's a very emotional composer in his music. I recommend you try it. You might like it. You never know. But yeah, adult coloring books was good for me. And so I had a lot of friends and family that were sending me gifts throughout the year, especially during my chemo treatments. And I enjoyed doing my coloring, and pretty much do coloring every day, even after chemo. When I can find time, definitely to do it. But when I start feeling stressed, or I have anxiety, or I start thinking about how maybe my body doesn't look the same, because you will go through those times throughout the journey. Depression will creep up on you one way or the other at some time or another. It does happen. I haven't come across anyone yet that hasn't had some type of bout with depression. Some people just handle it differently. But I pick up my book, I sit down, I color, I start feeling better. So these are some of the things that worked for me. Again, they're just suggestions for you to try. So that's pretty much how I got through my year, uh, my first year after being diagnosed with cancer. And you thought I was going to forget, but oh no, I would never forget my husband. He definitely was my rock. I don't think I could have done it without him. Some people said maybe you could, but I don't think that I could have. And he has agreed to be on one of my episodes, like you've heard me talk about. He'll be on the holiday episode, or one of the holiday episodes in December, so he's coming soon. So, again, thank you, babe, for being there for me and dealing with the mood swings and all the side effects, because they will be there. Trust what I tell you if you're not already dealing with cancer. So, let's talk about what's next, after your first year. I hadn't really thought about this yet, but I have a guest coming on from an organization. I won't announce it yet. I'll wait till she comes on. But basically, it really got me to thinking, what's next for me? Cancer Called is definitely next. I've decided to continue with that. I've decided to come out with more apparel. I hope you will start following me on Instagram. I finally have received some assistance on how to be on Instagram, work Instagram better. Before, I had most of my followers on Facebook. I will continue to be on Facebook. And I'm also going to start being on TikTok. So look for that. So that's one of the things that's next for me, is Cancer Called. The next thing was I have a new dog now. I don't know where she is. Maybe she'll make an appearance here in a second. Lola. Come here, Lola. Maybe not. We'll see. But I do. Here she comes. Come here, pretty. I have a new dog. Oh, excuse me. Here she is. I have a new dog. Say hi to the people. No, say hi to the people. Say hi to the people. Yes. Yes. I'm a true believer that animals make you happy. And my sister-in-law gifted Lola to me. So shout out to my sister-in-law, Amelia. Thank you for that. So being a dog mommy is next for me. I'm entertaining adoption very heavily now with my husband. I think that's next for me. And I will continue to give back to the community. That's where I'm at. The standard stuff that you talk about that's next for you, like your career. I continue to work on my career. I'm in management for a healthcare company. I do enjoy my job in managing other individuals and helping to develop them the best that I can. So I will continue with that. We're looking to purchase a home and settle our roots here in Arizona. So we're very happy in this state. And I think that continuing to help people deal with cancer, and change their mindset on how to deal with it. Because really, people say F cancer, screw cancer, cancer sucks. Yeah, like we all know that. But let's just tell the truth. Even though I lost all my hair, it's starting to grow back, and I just need a little bit more action up here going, and I swear I'm going to come up with the cutest hairstyle. So thank you, cancer, because I never would have cut my hair off. Trust what I tell you. My hair was down to here. It never would have happened. So I'm trying new things, I hope you will look at it like that as well. So we're ending, this episode. Hopefully you got something new from me. You definitely got to see me again without a hat. I'm feeling good about that. If you're interested in learning more about my journey, I urge you to please reach out to us. You can contact me at info at cancercalled.com. Again, that's info@cancercalled.com. Please join us on Facebook at cancer_called, Instagram cancer_called, and our website at cancercalled.com. Keep your eyes open. New apparel coming. We're even looking at pet options. So hopefully that works out. If you have any suggestions, feedback, we'd love to hear your comments. Please feel free, to reach out to us. I enjoy speaking to you. I hope you all will start commenting more so we can make some more connections. If you have any ideas, now you know where to find me. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Don't forget to check out Jessie Lee's Craft Beer Market. Anything you purchase there as far as the rosés for the week that I'm showing here, on our episodes, it gives back to Cancer Called, and you're helping someone during their cancer journey. I thank you a lot. See you next time. Take care.